me. Raila dares president. As Azimio Moja One Kenya Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga has dared President William Ruto to arrest him as he signals looming demonstrations and declared he will not relent in his push to install a, quote, government of the people. An image here from Kibra, where they held a rally yesterday. Azimio leader Raila Odinga addresses his supporters at Kamkunji grounds in Kibra, Nairobi yesterday. That photo by Evans Habil. And President William Ruto also had something to say in Nakuru. I will not relent in pursuit of tax evaders. President William Ruto has vowed that his administration will not relent in its push to have everyone pay their taxes, while insisting that the era of powerful personalities using their influence to secure tax waivers is long gone. If you visit NTV Kenya's YouTube channel and ntvkenya.co.ke, you will find what Mama Ngina had to say on the subject. You will also find what Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka had to say on the withdrawal, or rather the scaling down of former President Uhuru Kenyatta's security. We just listened to what Jimmy Wanjiki also had to say on the subject this morning. So you can find all of this content online as well as on nation.africa. Form 1s start reporting to their schools today amid congestion fears. RMPs the luckiest in salary reviews, a Nation analysis says so. That is on the back of the Daily Nation. An alarm as killer building firm bags 20 billion shilling housing tender. Let me just take a look at the first few paragraphs on the front page. A local construction firm embroiled in controversy over the collapse of a building in Nandi County that killed one person and injured 6 others has bagged a lucrative 20 billion shilling government housing deal. EPCO Builders Limited was contracted to deliver 5,360 affordable housing units in Machakos County. The Mavoko project sits on 55 acres. Housing and Urban Development Principal Secretary Charles Hinga said the project will be completed in 4 years. And a story here that was a special report filed for us yesterday by Brian Obuya, how Lake Basin agency bosses schemed to steal retirees' benefits. A Nation investigation has exposed how the scheme at the Lake Basin Development Authority was planned and executed. More on that on page 10 of the Business Daily. So again, you can find that full special report on ntvkenya.co.ke. Front page of the Business Daily. Mauritius private equity firm in talks to fully acquire Java. UK-based fund Actis seeks to exit coffee chain. Mauritius company also owns stake in Quick Mart. Mauritius-based private equity firm is in discussions to fully, I beg your pardon, let me just grab my hard copy. Mauritius-based private equity firms Adenia Partners is in discussions to fully acquire restaurant chain Java House in a transaction that could hit 3 billion shillings amid heightened deal-making in Kenya's hospitality sector. This report by Boniface Otieno, the talks over Adenia's offer to acquire the stake owned by UK-based fund Actis remain at an advanced stage, according to a person familiar with the negotiations. The potential deal could be valued at between 2.5 billion shillings and 3 billion shillings as Actis seeks to cash in on the stake it acquired from Dubai-based Abraj Group. And also on the front page, Ndongo's stake in Sports Pesa firm risks seizure without pay. The fight over Sport Pesa assets and business has taken a new twist after entrepreneurs Paul Wanderi Ndongo and Asanath Washiramaina were expelled as shareholders of the betting company's holding firm at zero compensation for their stakes. So for more details on this report by Sam Kiplagat, do grab your copy of the Business Daily. I see here on the ticker the 4.5 billion shilling Swiss debt behind tripling of stamp tax. A 4.5 shilling billion debt owed to a Swiss contractor by the Kenya Revenue Authority pushed the National Treasury to propose for the tripling of the excise stamps prices. More on that on page 4. Tax has been a hot topic. Airtel books additional 2.5 billion shillings in tax savings. Airtel Kenya used up an additional 2.5 billion shillings worth of deferred tax credits on its books to save on payments due to the taxman in the quarter ending December 2022, pointing to a return to profitability in the near term. And finally, on the ticker, NSE investors lose up to 164 billion shillings in state-run firms. Investors have recorded a wealth erosion of 164.1 billion shillings over the past 5 years from 7 companies where the government has a controlling stake or major influence. The paper losses, most of which are likely to be permanent, given the financial condition of the companies such as Kenya Airways and Kenya Power. More on that on page 14 of the Business Daily. Front page of the Taifa Leo. Gusa Uhuru Uone, Odinga aidha azindua vuguvugu jipya la MDD kwa lengo la kulazimisha serikali itimize ahadi zake kwa raia na kukuza demokrasia. So this is on what Raila Odinga had to say yesterday in Kibra. Raila mkanya Ruto kumwandama mtangulizi wake kwa madai halipi ushuru, akisema Kenyatta anastahili heshima. Ruto ahisi hasira za Mama Ngina. Adai sasa upo mwafaka kuhusu umuhimu wa kila raia kulipa ushuru. Elimu ya gredi 7 haina rada, walimu wakuu wa shule za msingi waendelea kusimamia. And then, all right, I'll leave the front page of the Taifa Leo there and look at the East African now. And on the front page of the East African is who's hoarding pay for Somalia peacekeepers. Uganda MPs lift lid on simmering row over soldiers' allowances as morale dips in Somalia mission amid preparations for a drawdown. More on that on page 4 and 5 of the East African. And there's an image here of the Pope and the South Sudanese head of state, Pope Francis, with South Sudanese President Salva Kiir at the presidential palace in Juba after the pontiff landed in the capital on Friday for the 3-day second leg of his Africa tour, dubbed Pilgrimage of Peace. He had spent 3 days in Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I see here on page 12, is Ruto out to frustrate Kenyatta? State downgrades ex-president security detail. Observers say timing is suspect, but police say it's normal procedure. EAC protests Congo move to kick out Rwandans, I beg your pardon. Secretary General Peter Mathuki wants Kinshasa to explain why 3 army officers serving in the regional force in Goma were expelled. I will leave the publications coming out of the Nation Media Group at that.